Eyup. I'm not feeling very festive this morning, but we are going to do a Championship and League One review of Tuesday night's games, the midweek fixtures, and we'll start with Blackburn and Oxford, which finished one apiece. I'll tell you what, we'll start on Oxford straight away. Recent form, not looking half bad. Yes, they need more wins, desperately, but going away to a Blackburn side that, again, has not been that poor recently. 2 losses in 9 games for someone like Blackburn. Obviously, they can't finish a game, at time. The squad's crap. There's no real expectation. Blackburn are chipping away very nicely, so that is not a bad point for Oxford at all, just straight away. Blackburn worked better side, probably should have won, but I don't really know what to say about them anymore. Blackburn. Oxford, I think, will stay up. Everybody sort of knows that now. I think Oxford will stay up because of Gary Rowett. Swansea have pulled away, to be fair, and we're going to speak about that as well. But Blackburn are a side that if season ended right now, today, they'd have had a blinder. Just, if they can stay up, they've had such a good year with all the shit that is going on behind scenes for them, and not even behind scenes, the very front of the scene right now, that they can't finish a game because the pitch is crap, the squad's awful, they sell everything that moves. If Ismail can keep these up, they've played a blinder, Blackburn. So yes, they should have probably won against a poor side, ultimately, and one that you're desperate to finish in front of. But if season finished today and them two finishing 20th and 21st, A, I wouldn't be surprised, and B, I think that they've done a very good job both for them to stay up. 1-1 does look like a little bit of a smash and grab from Oxford. Obviously, they were fairly even in first half when Oxford scored, just before half-time. Second half, it's always going to look like that when you're coming out away from home. But very good point for Oxford. I'm going to say decent. It's a very good point for Oxford. Blackburn could have gone for a little bit more, but it's not in the world, really. Charlton and Middlesbrough. Well, 2 ways to look at this. Shall we start with the good? Let's start with the positives here. Oh, my God. In fact, shall we start with negatives? Because it is smacking you straight in the face as soon as you load it up. Let's start with negatives. Right, Charlton. A side that started so well. Honeymoon period, most definitely over. Middlesbrough, better side, but I'm not overly asked about losing at home to Middlesbrough, a second in division. I'm more asked about the amount of goals that they're conceding for a side that typically is very good defensively and can't match anybody really going forward. They've had such a good start, but it shows how tight this league is, obviously. The fact that, generally like last month they were in playoffs, and now they're 19th and 6 points off Portsmouth. I don't think Portsmouth will finish in front of them, and I think Charlton are quite lucky with how poor some of these teams are and that Wednesday they've occupied a position anyway. Do I think Charlton will stay up? A minute, yeah. But they've got to turn this around really quickly. They've got to go back to what they're really good at and not concede as many. Because they're never going to score the goals that teams above them at table are going to score. You'll never even get close to someone like Norwich, for example, who is second bottom in it. Focus on what you're good at, because defensively, they are one at best sides still. Bearing in mind the amount they've conceded recently, Charlton, you look at the sides in and around and below, you might be looking at Swansea down. Charlton have got second best defensive record there. I just think they've got to focus a little bit more on what they're really good at, which is at back end at pitch, because they've got naff all going forward, really. But again, going back to it, it is Middlesbrough, who are second in division, and this new man has really got them boys going. 3 games, 3 wins. They've conceded in all of them, but also the way that they're playing, there's a lot more freedom given, a lot more of a direction to go forward. Like, stop holding your send back, I guess, is message from manager so far. Like, you know what you can do, some of these Middlesbrough players, a top draw, just go and prove it. And I think they are doing really good at that so far. No goal from a striker either, but they still scored 2 away from home against what is stereotypically quite a good defensive side. Really top win that for Middlesbrough. Charlton, yeah, we can worry about him. But Middlesbrough, really good. Really, really good. You have got Ipswich coming over the horizon as like a big main threat, and Southampton are really kicking it on now. Obviously, Millwall are in touching distance here. But only 5 points off Coventry now. You know, for a side that everybody, including myself, I still think Coventry will win league by some margin, really. But they're not that far off. They're not a million miles away now. 3 wins on bounce, and Coventry haven't been winning as regularly recently. Go on the Borough boys. It's about time, you know. They've been shit for years. It's about time they had a good go at this. Preston and Cov, Liam Lindsay straight red at 40th minute, and then they still managed to nick a point, Preston. Classic Eki, classic Preston. If you can't win, don't lose type shit. They are so good at staying in games. Every single loss that they've had for an entire year has been by 1 goal. There's a lot of draws, yes, and it might be one that does end up hindering them a little bit if they want to get into the top 6. But after the shit show that they had last season, Preston, mate, they'd have took like 6th bottom, I think. I think if they could have just fairly comfortably stayed up, a lot of Preston fans would take it. And none of them, not one Preston fan thought that they'd be up here. Not one. 4th position after 20 games, with amount of turnover that they've had players-wise. That's some serious going that for Eki. He's done really, really good with him so far. And also to keep top at league, who had scored 50 goals before this game in 18 or whatever it is, something along them lines. You've got 10 men for an hour to keep that Coventry side to only score one against you, and then you nick one anyway, regardless of that. To only concede one to this side, so structured defensively. They are brilliant defensively, Preston are, and the shape and all off-ball work, top draw. Oh dear. Sheffield United 1, Norwich 1. First thing I'd look at before I start like taking piss out of Jimmy, because I just immediately want to do that, because he said to me they'll finish top 6, which is just not happening. Lineup-wise, they had quite a few missing, I believe. I think some of the midfielders weren't in there. Like Peck's not there, and he weren't on bench either. There's quite a few missing there. That Gyro fella, he's not in there either. So they've had to put Arblaster straight in after being out for a year. He only got an hour and then got took off, obviously. Bindon started instead of McGuinness or Ben Mee. So quite a few changes there, but still no real excuses. You should be beating this Norwich side at home with the momentum that you've got and 3 expected goals at home, and not one of them's a penalty. Unlucky with own goal, yeah. But Sheffield United should have put these to bed a little bit. Norwich have been playing better, definitely. Like I've said that for the last couple of weeks since Clement's come in, new gaffer. But ultimately, not to take it away from me, ultimately they do need to start winning more games, because points are no good to you when you're 8 points off getting out at minute or whatever it is. But this is a really, really good one, because they're under cost for a lot of it, by luck. Sheffield United had a lot of chances and a lot of big ones at that. But to get a point here, away from home, Tuesday night under Leeds, that ain't bad at all for Norwich. That's a really good point, even, I got to say, with current state of the both in. Southampton and West Brom. Sack him, bro. Why is he still here? I don't understand. They concede so many goals. This is West Bromwich Championship, and your standards have never been lower. Again, not to let him get away with it, because I'm not bothered. We're not just looking at this one game here with West Brom. I'm looking at it with Southampton, because very good. 3-0 up at half-time. Like, absolutely slapped them up. But then in second half, Southampton really let them in, which were a bit surprising that they couldn't see it out a little bit easier than that. And they had squeaky bottoms near end. But what is wrong with West Brom? Like, that first half is abysmal. To go in 3-0 down is just shocking. I thought Grant looked quite good, to be fair, from bits that I've seen. But recent form for West Brom. In fact, let me actually have a look at form for the last 10 games for West Brom. 20th. Last 5 games, 19th. Last 15 games, 20th. You are a relegation battle side, West Brom in Championship. Sack this PE teacher, he's dog shit. Deserved win for Southampton by the looks of it. They now move up, well, looking at form again, look at Southampton more recently. 2nd, 4th, yeah, they're putting it on a little bit more. Up to 8th now. They are 9 points off Middlesbrough. I've seen bigger points tellers be turned over in my lifetime before. But playoffs for Southampton, easy. Easy, mate. They will definitely get in there. The form is absolutely insane. They've won 6 out of the last 7 games, only lost to Millwall. Top draw. They're scoring a lot of goals, but you are going up against an absolute basket case or a club at minute in West Brom. They are so shit because of Mason. Just sack him. Is it really that hard? I do think we're at a point now where players have gone for him anyway, more or less. In fact, the 6 points off. You could sack him now and still have a chance. He's awful. Oh, my God. Good win for Southampton, though. Really good side. I'll tell you what. Credit where it is due, because Swansea have been absolutely honking shit for months. Genuinely, more or less all season. Apart from an 8th decent start, they've been crap for so much of it. And it were really, really big week this for them. They've had Oxford and Portsmouth at home. When they're staring relegation straight in our nose, and you've got Portsmouth and Oxford, you've got to win them games if you want any chance. And they have done exactly that. So, really well done there for them. Are they still out of any sort of trouble? Absolutely not. I still think they're in a heap of crap. Swansea are. But that's a really good, impressive week, that, to get 2 wins out of them games. And to look like they deserve them as well. It did look quite 50-50, this Swansea one, but Portsmouth can't hit a barn door. That's been a problem all season for him. So for Swansea to have got the one big chance, took it, and then seen it out quite well, that'll do, mate. That will do. The form's obviously still crap, but them 2 wins are massive. Portsmouth, you're going down, boys. I'm not being funny. What has happened to that forward line? What has happened? Why can these players, Lang, Murphy, Chaplin... Where's Bishop? Did Bishop go on bench? Bishop went on bench. I'm not surprised, because he's been crap. These guys who scored so many goals for you last season, he's been an absolute bagsman for about 10 years, Colby Bishop. And then suddenly, overnight, he just can't hit a barn door. There's no way. Something must have gone off with a lot of these players. Either some coaching department's changed in background, or players aren't buying into Mousinho anymore. There's something wrong. Because why can your players not score when they did it so easily last season? They didn't really have a problem scoring goals last season, Portsmouth. They'll crap away, but they still score goals. I don't know what has happened to them. And after how long it's took them to get to Championship, a side that shouldn't really struggle to accumulate really to Championship now. They should be able to come in here and not like go and just take piss and be straight to top 6, but sort of assert himself as a regular Championship team that everybody just sort of looks at like a Preston and thinks, yeah, they're going to be in there. I could have seen that future for Portsmouth. I don't know what has happened. 15 goals in 19 games is absolutely awful. Let's just hope you've got some money to spend in January. You've got to pull some favours, get a big loan in the summer, just chuck some money at top end of pitch. Defensively, they aren't awful, but you've got to start scoring some goals, man, because every Portsmouth fan knows and all. It's not something new to them. It's not something they want to hear a neutral say either. But you're going down. As it stands, you are going to finish second bottom as it's going at minute. And when you know that it should be better, that's what frustrates you most. Because one big moment here, one big chance is what separated it and give 3 points to someone that you're trying to finish in front of. It's not good enough, but it's a really good win for Swansea and a needed one as well. Really, really big week for him. I'll say that again. But Portsmouth still find themselves sat in bottom 3, and I can't see that changing at minute how it's going. Watford 1, Wednesday 1. Oh, God, you absolute... Look at that. Come on, man. Loser, what are you doing, man? Oh, he's been best player on pitch again. Oh, never mind. Oh, no, Charles has. Yeah, that don't surprise me, you know. Mate, that Charles is only Wednesday player, probably in history, that I've looked at and thought, I quite like this guy. He's so good. He's got a very big future ahead of him. Rest of him, obviously awful. They've had none at ball, created nothing. But that's to be expected, isn't it? Because they are awful. Watford, I really thought, like with stats like that, you'd have probably put 4 past someone like this. But obviously, Wednesday's keepers had a blinder. But it's obviously points dropped. Anybody that don't win against Wednesday is points dropped home and away. And when you're looking at easiest fixture in league coming up, and you've dropped 2 points there that would have had you 7th, a point of getting in there, you might look at that and think, God, if you're sat here at the end of the season in like 7th or 8th and a point of getting in, you will look at this game and think, how could we not beat that bag of shit? But Wednesday up to -9 now. My prediction is 5 points, so chipping away nicely. But poor that from Watford, really poor. And then QPR Birmingham, before we get on to League One. I made the full video saying that I think Birmingham would definitely get top 6, and this obviously ain't going to change that. But why are they so crap away? Why? Let me have a look if he's come on. I wonder if he watched my video, Davis. He might have done, you know, because Dyke's come on in 68th minute. So he's actually been given a little bit of time. When you're chasing a game, 1-0 down, you've got to start pumping some balls into the box. But still not enough, because when you scroll down and look at it, crosses the Middle East screen, they've put 20 crosses in all game. That is absolutely woeful. Like, seriously, I don't understand the position that you can find yourself in, losing at half-time. You bring some big men on, and you've only put 9 crosses into the box in second half. I'm just not understanding it. The point of getting your big fellas onto the pitch is to put it on the bondsman. Get it out wide and put a cross in. Why do they put 9 crosses into the box in second half when you're losing? I don't understand. They've got such this one focused way of going forwards, and it's working brilliantly at home. But change how you play away, or you will not go up. And it's a side that could go up very easily. To be fair, QPR have turned it on recently. I'm not going to get excited for QPR because they'll go on a spell where they don't win for 10 games again. But, like, really good recently. And to concede at 93rd minute and then get winner at 96th for his serious character, I just don't understand the thought process with Birmingham and just not putting it in box enough. 9 crosses in second half when you're losing is just stupid. I don't understand. It's not like it's some foreign gaffer that don't understand Championship. Like, surely you know how Championship works. Surely you know how English football pyramid works. You put crosses into the box when you're losing game. It's not something new. It's not revolutionary. Everybody has done it forever because it works. If you're chasing a game, you've got a big 6'5" striker on pitch. Put a ball onto his noggin. Stop fannying about. But anyway, looking at Championship table before we go and look at League One. Oh. Wednesday still bottom, like 14 points to go, boys, until you get my prediction right. Norwich, good point though, away at Sheffield United. I do think they'll probably get out of it, but it might be a last-minute job. Portsmouth, I'm really worried about. They're probably still looking at Swansea down. Charlton really, really sinking like a stone. And then looking up that table, there's nothing really to report on that much about, apart from Southampton up in 8th now. They've really, really turned it on in recent weeks. QPR getting to top 6 for the first time in a while with 4 wins in 5 games. Preston a good point at home to Cov, who are still top at division, but Middlesbrough a huge win away at Charlton. Season pull away a little bit in second. Really good stuff that from Middlesbrough. Then League One. Donny 0, Stockport 2. I actually thought that Donny would come here and win because no Norwood, no Bait, no party really for Stockport. They're absolutely onking it middle of pitch, really, without them two. And this isn't going to change because Ben Osborne and Bailey have had a decent game. They've obviously got a really big squad, Stockport, and you expect them to do well with the money that they've chucked at it. But I don't look at that midfield with much confidence. I genuinely thought Donny would win. I really, really did. They've obviously had a really good game, so I'm not taking it away from them. And it's a big win, that is, away at Donny, who's started to turn it a little bit recently. Still not good enough long term, but 3 wins in a row before coming into this, it's good going. Like, 0 shots on target for Donny at home is very poor. And Stockport needed that, you know. Just going and looking at it, they needed it. So it's been very hot and cold for a bit. In league, they've been quite poor for a few weeks because of the Norwood aspect and him missing. But they've done well here to get a win and to keep in touch and all with a lot of teams that are winning constantly. If Stockport can go through this spell where Norwood's not fit and to try and limp into January, really, if they can come out of this bad period still in top 6, they've done very, very good, haven't they, really? Exeter 1, Wimbledon 0. That's massive and all. That is a huge, huge, huge win, that, to keep them out at bottom 4, because obviously some sides down at bottom did win. And it's been quite a big midweek set of fixtures anyway for tightening it back a little bit, because it did look like bottom 5 was starting to sink away a little bit, but big wins for a lot of them has brought it all back into play a bit more. That is huge, that. I think Wimbledon could be dragged a bit further down table. I don't think they'll go down, Wimbledon, but I think they could find themselves in and around like 17th by the time it's all said and done, because Exeter now are only 6 points off them in 9th. It's a very even division, but a huge win, that, for Exeter. Leyton Orient 1, Luton 1. That were a last-minute equaliser from Kodua, who was brought in, really, as a backup striker, weren't he? He weren't brought in to start, but he has been getting a lot of minutes recently. I know he's only a young kid from Wickham, like. Oh, on loan. Oh, I actually didn't know that. I actually thought he was Wickham's boy last season, because he was on loan twice in a row, wasn't he? He was on loan from West Ham. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, he's been playing quite well recently. This bloke for a young kid, not bad. Orient should have probably finished the dinner. I do think a lot of teams will just concede possession to Luton and just say, just come and break us down and we'll let you on counter-attack. And that suited a lot of teams that have got points off Luton. But for me to come here and say that Leyton Orient weren't clinical enough is something that I didn't really think I'd ever say, to be honest. But Connolly didn't start for him, which is very strange. He must be injured, but I've not seen anything about that. So I don't know why that's happened. I'll tell you what, I hope he's injured or not in chuffing team for Saturday, because we're going to get his arsehole ripped open if he's starting. Connolly's a great player. But maybe that is literally the only difference for him in this game. Luton did well to come and rescue a point and still be in touching distance at top 6. But Leyton Orient are so poor away from home and concede so many goals that you've got to be winning games like that and seeing it out when you 1-0 up in 96 minutes. You've got to see that out a little bit better. Lincoln 3, Barnsley 1. Mansfield 0, Bolton 1. So Mansfield got a red... No, guys, I kid. I will speak about this absolute dog shit. Since we got relegated, I have had a ticket for every Lincoln away game. I didn't go once because I was ill, but I've been 3 times then to Lincoln since we've come down. And every time I've gone, we've played worse. And every time we've gone, as defence is worse than last year, which I didn't even think were possible the year before. God himself must come down and save me for our defence next year, because that... I don't think it can get much worse. I'm not just going to come on here and bash them all. And I'm definitely not anything against Urian. And I think people who genuinely look at this and think it's Urian's fault could not tell you what day it is. I truly do think that. I don't want to say, oh yeah, I know more than you. But if you think this is Urian's fault, you are an idiot, like a genuine idiot. How can you look at them goals we conceded last night and think, well, if we had a different manager, Dijavinier wouldn't have booted ball backwards. If we had a decent manager, then we wouldn't have had 1 defender marking 3 players in box for 3rd goal. If we had a decent manager, as 2 defenders wouldn't have stepped up and left 4 players to run through straight on goal after we'd scored. How is that, Urian? The defenders are shit. That is what it comes to every time. The centre-backs are the worst we have ever had. Ever. I weren't even a scratch in my dad's ball sack, mate, when we were kicking about in League 2. But I'm telling you now, if our defence in League 2 were worse than that, I'd be surprised. We're good going forward. We are clearly a good side going forwards. We are clearly a good footballing team. And I thought in spells last night, we actually looked quite good. I thought Kelly were only one probably that had a decent shift. That's the truly only one that I thought had a good game. But everybody else, no one were truly on it. But we still looked all right going forward. We had a lot of chances. We created a decent chance to score a goal. And it were obviously coming that we'd score. But I said to my mates, I swear on my life, I said to my mates when we stood there at half-time and we were losing, we will definitely score here, definitely. But I know for a fact as soon as we do, the intensity and pressure will drop off immediately and we'll go completely slack and they'll score straight away. And I shit you not, I would turn around speaking to my mate, I turned back around and ball bounced and I see 3 of them running through on goal. I didn't even know we kicked off and they'd scored immediately. It's like, I could see coming from a mile off. It's so frustrating But at the same time, if you think this is Urian's fault, seek help. I'll put a helpline number at bottom of screen now. Seek God if you think that this is Urian's fault. You look at them defenders. I have played with better lads at Sunday League. Jesus Christ. Anyway, Lincoln, very, very boring side, but I'll tell you what, they do a job. Very efficient. It's best Lincoln side that I've seen since we've come down, definitely. They are a good team. Like, they're good at knowing this league and knowing what it is and targeting weak points of other opposition, obviously. Like, they've done a job on us. They weren't better side for most of the game. They deserve to win. I've got no complaints with there. My complaints obviously start and end with recruitment in defensive department. Because I'll tell you what, if we don't chuck money at this, just chuck some money at that defence in January, I'd give up. Seriously, I'd give up if we do not chuck some money at that back line. Because everything else is there, apart from them defenders. But yeah, I will come and look at league table at end. But I have a sweeping statement to make about Barnsley. And I think I've done it for a while, but I'm actually going to say it at the end of this video. Fuck it. Oh, God, I hate this. Oh, I hate this club. Mansfield 0, Bolton 1. Mansfield had a red card in 13th minute, and then Bolton, in true Bolton style, did just dominate it start to finish. Could have scored a couple more, but a 1-0, you'll take it. There's not much else to say there. Bolton, I do think, is still best side in the league. That ain't changing, baby. That will never change. I think Bolton are the best team in this division, and I think they'll get promoted. Mansfield, I think, will still stay up as well. They're only 3 points in front of it now, and teams are starting to creep up a little bit. But I still think Mansfield will be fine as well. Not a lot to report. 1-0 Bolton looked almost a given anyway off a Bolton win. So I'm not really surprised. And I'm also not that arsed. End of. Northampton 1, Huddersfield 1. Now, I didn't actually do my predictions because I was so busy yesterday. And then I went to games. So I just didn't have a chance. I was here, there, and everywhere. I didn't have a chance to do a video, unfortunately. But I would have actually said a Northampton win. I wouldn't have gone a draw. I would have gone a Northampton win. See, I could have just lied there and said I'd have gone 1-1. But I would have gone a Northampton win because I just don't rate Huddersfield at all. They did look better side. And this is not a problem that I can blame on Grant because they should have finished the dinner a little bit more. But throughout this season so far, Grant has been poor. He's got one of the best squads easily that he should be getting a lot more out of. But again, like the age-old line, can he run onto pitch and put it back at net? He probably won't anyway because you're a keeper. But no, he can't. And if your strikers cannot finish the dinner when you're better side, that ain't an in problem. Good job for Northampton. Like, they've done really well to grind it out. They're an horrible side to play, in cracking form. They're doing really, really well, just chipping away nicely. 15th. They'll take mid-table, definitely. But Huddersfield, I can't believe every time I look at table, they just seem to be 8th. All time. Win, lose, or draw. I swear they could lose like 5 games in a row and they'd still be in 8th. They just don't seem to drop below this. And again, a side that's going to chuck some money at it in January, you just look at it and think, the bottom line for these is still to be within contention at playoffs. They're never going to fall lower than that. You look at like Plymouth or someone like that had same expectations as us boys in and around start of season. And they're chumming bottom 4 and they have been all year. Like, I can't believe Huddersfield are still in and around this when they're awful. Port Vale and Bradford got postponed. Wickham 0, Plymouth 1. I just knew this had happened because my last man standing were in League 1. So I thought, well, Duff's been incredible at Wickham. Plymouth is shit. I'll go Wickham. Classic. My God, look at how many yellow cards they've had. I mean, Wickham really put it on them, but honestly, who cares? Who cares? Oh my God, Wickham's form actually has fallen off a cliff. I didn't know that coming into this. Oh, it's Cubs, in it, really. A side that's been so good since Duff's come in. Like, form-wise, last 15, last 10. They're in and around it, aren't they? I don't know what's gone on here, but Plymouth needed that. I'll tell you that for now. Plymouth have been desperate for some more consistent league wins. And two wins in 4 games with the current state that Plymouth are in. Get in. You bet Port Vale and Wickham. Beating Liverpool at Cup last year. No. 1-0 away at Wickham. Get in. Do I think they can stay up with Tom Cleverley after a 1-0 win away at Wickham? No. I genuinely think if Cleverley stays there all season, they're getting relegated. They'll have to chuck some money at it in January. And don't let that owner fool you into thinking, oh, we've got no money, we're losing money out time. That ain't unanimous to Plymouth, brother, man. Like, I support Barnsley. I've heard this fucking trollop for years on end. We're losing loads of money. I've got an idea. Sell the club. There's someone that's got someone that can afford it. Plymouth fans, do not let this geezer in a suit tell you that you cannot spend any money in January. Put pressure on them. You need to, or you're going down. You've got to sack Cleverley, spend some brass in January, or they're going to lead to. But a good win, that. Oh, wait, Wickham. Good win. Reading 1, Peterborough 2. That is shit odd, to be fair. That's a really, really nice win. Because Reading, I'm not a big fan on Reading so far this season. I think they're really underperforming. The players in certain areas are stinking. But for the most part, they should be getting a lot more points than they are doing. And going forward, since they've sacked Hunt, going forward with Liam Richardson, they do look a lot better. The results are still way too inconsistent, but they do look a lot better going forward, definitely. Peterborough have lost 4 games in a row. After Williams come in and won 4 in a row, he then lost 4 in a row in all comps. But that is a huge, huge win to give him a chance of staying up. Huge. Like the wins for Plymouth and Peterborough now, after being awful, puts them within a win of 5 teams. So after such a crap start, they're now only a win and some favourable results going their way off getting out. Good win for Peterborough, really good win, but they need to get back on that horse of winning more consistently. Reading, slightly concerned, but I could just see, like, you'll be in bottom 4 and then at last day, Lewis Spring will score 5 screamers and you'll win 5-0, keep you up. That is just definitely what will happen. And then, in a huge, huge win, Stevenage 0, Cardiff 1, Cardiff winning 85th minute. Now, I know you're going away to Stevenage and thinking, why is this a huge win? It's Stevenage. They get about 17 people at home. Why is it a huge win? Stevenage at home are absolutely insane. Look at their goals conceded at home. Before this game, 2 goals conceded. So you know you've got to be very defensively tight anyway, because if you concede, you're more than likely going to lose. So you've got to go there and focus on not conceding and hope you can snatch one. That is exactly what Cardiff have done. They've played it perfectly. The better side start to finish. Stevenage have had 2 shots all game at home, none on target. Cardiff have absolutely... They've shown them levels here in what is needed to be a promotion side, truly. And not to take anything away from Stevenage because they've had such a good start. But that is the level, really, that Cardiff are at a minute. And like I said in the Barnsley thing, I've been saying all season, mainly because I need to find a team that I think Barnsley finish in front of to get into the top 2. Because I know we won't finish in front of Bolton because I think the best side. Cardiff and Bolton are the sides that I think are going to get promoted top 2 now. That's where I'm at. That's the win that I needed to see. And that's the game and the way that it went. Not Stevenage battering them and Cardiff nicking one. How they've gone there and won in manner that they did, I have seen enough. That is all I needed to see. I think Cardiff and Bolton need 2 sides that are getting promoted through the top 2. And Barnsley are going to go through playoffs instead. I prefer playoffs anyway. It's the best way to do it. Like, come on, man. I've done it. I've been promoted so many different ways now. And I would always choose playoffs. I also love conceding 123rd minute to our biggest rivals and getting robbed at Wembley. And then being on worst run in my entire life during that period. Football. Let's look at the table, bitches. There's obviously a couple games still to be played tonight at time of recording this. So if you've watched it on Thursday, then yesterday. There's some Wednesday night games going on, so the table might be different depending on when you're watching it. But Port Vale is still last, obviously, same as Blackpool because they've not played. Plymouth, Peterborough, and Exeter. Huge, huge wins, baby. Humongous. And then shooting up. Who do I truly look at and think at that top 12 can get in? In fact, let's make it a bit broader. The top 14. Probably anybody. probably anybody could get in there. It's such a tight division. And there's no one that really stands out to me apart from Bolton and Cardiff at a minute. And this video right now. But it's been an absolute pleasure. I love you all. Thank you very much for watching. I hate football. Shit. In a bit.
I say I'm a man. Yes, I'm a mucker. I think of me saying as a right good looker. I say up that. Show us bit it.